Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Happy Nirjala Ekadashi to everyone. It is also known as Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi. There is a post about the katha of this vrat put on earlier in the day in the group, so you can read it there. We are on chapter 13 of the Krishna book, the stealing of the boys and calves by Brahma. So Brahma is in a bit of dilemma and shock to see the powers of the Almighty, how he has put himself into each and every cowherd boy and also in each and every calves for the whole year, because it was just like a moment for Brahma in his abode. So when he came back, it was already one full year gone past in the early times. So from there we shall continue now. Krishna took compassion upon Brahma, who was unable even to see how he was displaying the forms of Vishnu and transforming himself into calves and cowherd boys. And thus, while fully manifesting the Vishnu expansions, he suddenly pulled his curtain of Yogmaya over the scene. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not visible due to the curtain spread by Yogmaya. That which covers the reality is Mahamaya. So I would like to repeat this once again. It's worth listening. Krishna pulled his curtain of Yogmaya over the scene which he had created of making himself present in each and every calf and the cowherd boy. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it says that Supreme Personality of Godhead is not visible due to the curtain spread by Yogmaya. So this is why we are not able to see him with our material eyes, because of the Yogmaya. That which covers the reality is Mahamaya, or the external energy. And the energy here which is covering everything, it is called Mahamaya. And who is in charge of that? Durga Devi. Yogmaya is in the Golok Vrindavan, where Krishna is. That which covers the reality is Mahamaya, or the external energy, which does not allow a conditioned soul to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead beyond the cosmic manifestation. But the energy which partially manifests the Supreme Personality of Godhead and partially does not allow one to see is called Yogmaya. Brahma is not an ordinary conditioned soul. He is far, far superior to all other demigods. And yet he could not comprehend the display of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Krishna willingly stopped manifesting any other further potency. The conditioned soul not only becomes bewildered, but is completely unable to understand. The curtain of Yogmaya was drawn so that Brahma would not become more and more perplexed. When Brahma was relieved from his perplexity, he appeared to awaken from an almost dead state, and he began to open his eyes with great difficulty. Thus he could see the external cosmic manifestation with common eyes. He saw all around him with the super excellent view of Vrindavan, full with trees, which is the source of life for all living entities. He could appreciate the transcendental land of Vrindavan, where all the living entities are transcendental or ordinary, are transcendental to ordinary nature. In the forest of Vrindavan, even ferocious animals like tigers live peacefully along with the deer and human beings. He could understand that because of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vrindavan is the land transcendental to all other places and is free of lust and greed. Brahma thus found Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing the part of a small cowherd boy. He saw that little child with a lump of food in his left hand searching out his friends and calves, just as he had actually been doing 1 year before, after their disappearance. Immediately, Brahma descended from his great swan carrier and fell down before the Lord, just like a golden stick. The word used among the Vaishnavas for offering respect is Dandavat. This word means falling down like a stick. One should offer respect to the superior Vaishnav by falling down straight with his body just like a stick. So Brahma fell down before the Lord just like a stick to offer respect. And because of the complexion of Brahma is golden, he appeared to be like a golden stick lying down before the Lord Krishna. All the 4 helmets on the heads of Brahma touched the lotus feet of Krishna. Brahma, being very joyful, began to shed tears, and he washed the lotus feet of Krishna with his tears. Repeatedly he fell and rose as he recalled the wonderful activities of the Lord. After repeating obeisances for long time, Brahma stood up and smeared his hand over his eyes. Seeing the Lord before him, he trembling began to offer prayers with great respect, humility and attention. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 13th chapter of Krishna, the stealing of the boys and the calves by Brahma. So we begin our chapter 14 now. It's entitled Prayers Offered by Lord Brahma to Lord Krishna. Brahma said, "My dear Lord, you are the only worshipful Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, I am offering my humble obeisances and prayers just to please you. Your bodily features are the color of clouds filled with water. You are glittering with a silver electric aura emanating from your yellow garments. Let me offer my respectful repeated obeisances unto the son of Maharaj Nand, who is standing before me with conch shell earrings and a peacock feather on his head. His face is beautiful, he is wearing a helmet and is garlanded by forest flowers, and he stands with a morsel of food in his hand. He is decorated with cane, a buffalo horn bugle, and a flute. He stands before me with small lotus feet. My dear Lord, people may say that I am the master of the all Vedic knowledge and I am supposed to be the creator of this universe, but it has been proved now that I cannot understand you. You are present before me just like a child. You are playing with your boyfriends and calves, which might imply that you do not even have sufficient education. You are appearing just like a village boy, carrying your food in your hand and searching for your calves. And yet there is so much difference between your body and mine that I cannot estimate the potency of your body. And as I have already stated in the Brahma Samhita, your body is not material. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the body of the Lord is all spiritual. There is no difference between the Lord's body and his self. Each limb of his body can perform the actions of all others. I will repeat, each limb of the body of the Lord can perform the actions of all other limbs. Unlike ours, hands can only do hand duties, mouth can only do mouth duties. But in the case of Lord Krishna, each and every limb of his body can do everything. Hands can also see, eyes can also eat. So that brings us to the conclusion that when we offer the bhoga to the Bhagwan, Bhagwan is just, even by glancing at our bhoga, he is accepting it, he is relishing it. Brahma Samhita are the prayers written to Lord Krishna by Lord Brahma. And the Aarti we sing in the morning, the Darshan Aarti after the dressing of the deities, Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami, is a part of is a couple of verses of that Brahma Samhita. The Lord can see with his hands, he can hear with his eyes, he can accept offerings with his legs, and he can create with his mouth. Brahma continued, your appearance as a cowherd child for the benefit of the devotees, and although I have committed an offense at your lotus feet by stealing away your boys and calves, I can understand that you have bestowed your mercy upon me. That is your transcendental quality. You are very affectionate towards your devotees, but in spite of your great affection for me, I cannot estimate the potency of your bodily activities. It is to be understood that when I, Lord Brahma, the Supreme Personality of this universe, cannot estimate the childlike body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what to speak of the others? And if I cannot estimate the spiritual potency of your childlike body, then what can I understand about your transcendental pastimes? Therefore, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone who can understand a little of the transcendental pastimes, appearance and disappearance of the Lord becomes immediately eligible to enter into the kingdom of God after quitting the material body. This statement is also confirmed in the Vedas, where it is said, simply by understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can overcome the chain of repeated birth and death. I therefore recommend that people should not try to understand you by their speculative knowledge. The best process of understanding you is to submissively give up the speculative process and try to hear about you, either from yourself, as you have given statements in Bhagavad Gita and many similar Vedic literatures, or from a realized devotee who has taken the shelter at your lotus feet. One has to hear from the devotee without speculation. One does not even need to change his worldly position. He simply has to hear your message. Although you are not understandable by the material senses, simply by hearing you, one can gradually conquer the nations of misunderstanding. By your own grace only you become revealed to a devotee. So we all are hearing this because we have been very lucky to have the association of some devotee, and through the association of the devotees, to the sangha of some the devotees, the bhaktas, we get the mercy, karuna or the daya from the Lord, to hear about his pastimes and to relish them and to understand them, whatever little we can. You become revealed to a devotee, you are unconquerable by any other means. Speculative knowledge without any trace of devotional service is simply a useless waste of time in the search for you. Devotional service is so important that even a little attempt can raise one to the highest perfectional platform. One should not therefore neglect this auspicious process of devotional service and take to the speculative method. Speculative method, as you all understand, it implies that we just put our doubts and our spins and our own little intelligence on whatever we hear. That is speculative, and not to accept as the knowledge is given in front of us through the scriptures. By the speculative method, one may gain partial knowledge of your cosmic manifestation, but it is not possible to understand you, the origin of everything. The attempt of persons who are interested only in speculative knowledge is simply wasted labor, like the labor of a person who attempts to gain something by beating an empty husk of rice paddy. A little quantity of paddy can be husked by the grinding wheel and one can gain some grains of rice, but if the skin of the paddy has already been beaten by the grinding wheel, there is no further gain in beating even a huge quantity of the husk. It is simply useless labor. My dear Lord, there are many instances in the history of human society where a person, after failing to achieve the transcendental platform, engaged himself in devotional service with his body, mind and words, and thus attained the highest perfectional state of entering you into your abode. The process of understanding you by speculation or mystic meditation are all useless without devotional service. One should therefore engage himself in your devotional service, even in the worldly activities, and one should always keep himself near you by the process of hearing and chanting. So this is all we can do, and also do some Harinam Sankirtan. So we will continue tomorrow from here onwards, and please engage yourselves in however small or large devotional service from your part. Devotional service is not just hearing, chanting, but trying to bring Krishna, trying to bring the Lord in all your daily activities. So bhakti is overseeing all your life. You don't have to do any special effort to do the bhakti. So we will carry on tomorrow, and I wish you all a very happy Nirjala Ekadashi. Today, try to hear and engage more yourself today into the devotional service. Hare Krishna.